Hello, everybody. Welcome again to our weekly workshops where we teach you how you can master Clay and how you can scale your operations using Clay and other tools as well. Last week, I remember we chat about how you can use Prospio for your enrichment workflows. But today, we're going to talk about how you can use your own Clay system to scale it without using credits. So we have as well the presence of Mark, co-founder Mark. How are you doing, Mark? You there? You're muted.
I'm right here. How are you doing? Good, very good. Excited for a new edition of the workshop.
Last week we miss you. Yeah, luckily today we have a great topic to talk about. There's a lot of users that ask themselves how they can deploy Clay in a cheapest way, or in a way that they don't need to burn their bank account to be able to deploy a full workflow. So this is an interesting topic to chat about.
It's one of the main objections when a company is deciding to start using Clay or any other competitor, and many of the competitors have the pricing or the costs as their main differentiation point. But of course, that we're going to teach you how you can scale without representing a huge cost and still get the benefits of the tool.
Yeah. As Mark was saying, we have been seeing that a lot since last year, probably that Clay hyped with this new funding round that they received, like the latest two funding round that they received. And yeah, so for our coaching clients, we help them to also implement these tips that we're gonna cover today. So these secrets are not shown in Clay learning materials, because the main thing that you need to know is that Clay has a great system and that's their business model. So of course they want you to use more of those great credits, but there are other ways that you can use inside the tool to decrease the cost of running it. Quick question for you. Do you think great credits are expensive? You can drop your answers in the chat. Yes, no, depends. Let us know how you're using Clay so we can address any question that you have there. Yes. Okay, Franco, Fawad, Abdi. Okay, you think that great credits are expensive? So we can chat about it. Today, with Mark, we want to talk about it a bit. For the ones that don't know who we are Clay Advanced Artisan Solution Partners. So we are one of the few Clay experts that are dedicated our business and our services into helping companies implement systems so they can increase the speed to being able to deploy workflows, being able to process more leads and scale their operations using Clay and many other sophisticated tools for GTM and RevOps. We have generated more than 150-60 million on pipeline for our clients, and we're proud to be part of a huge community, not only on these workshops, but also in our newsletter, in our Slack community, and as well in our LinkedIn accounts. So I invite you to follow us and to join as well the Slack community. Here you have as well the link. If you want to join it, just click on the link and you will be receiving an invitation to join this community. So for today, the big promise is that you're gonna end this workshop by knowing a proven framework to cut your credit credits usage by 60 or 70%. And also I'm gonna share with you a break-even calculator that is gonna tell you when it's better to use credit credits or to use this other solution that I'm gonna present you today. So the main problem that we see is that probably that when you are start using the credit system, you're burning a lot of credits. We have been older. I mean, when we have just deployed the system, many times we forgot to turn off the table or we forgot to turn off a column when we add a new enrichment column in a table that we are not sure about the result, and we enrich it all, and we waste all of our credits in one day instead of using it through the whole month. Since we have been there, we know that there are different ways to approach this issue to solve it. And your competitors already know that they are using less than 30 or 40% of the credits that you are using it and achieving the same results. So in your case, can be a problem because you cannot speed up your lead gen because you have a budget constraint and they don't. So that's why we want you to solve these issues so you can scale your operations through the Clay platform, although you might not needing to use the credits. So the big opportunity here is that using this system that I'm gonna show you today, you will be able to enrich without credits consumption at all. You will know when it's better to allocate the credits, and you will be able to access to tools without subscription as well, using great credit system in that way. So one thing that we always mention is that we want and we need to automate things in marketing and sales because we want to scale our operations. And right now, today, this year, you have the capability to being able to automate all your data intensive tasks. That means tasks like creating lists, like enriching leads, finding their contact data, crafting a cold email, sending those leads to a sequence, finding their email through different email functions and validators, and so on. So there are many, many tasks that you can today automate using AI automation tools. In that way, you will be able to decrease the amount of time that you spend on those tasks, and you will be able to increase the amount of time that you spend on high value interactions that are related to generate leads. So if you do that, you will be able to increase the amount of leads that you generate. Let's say you recover 60% of that time and invested in high value interactions like creating really powerful lead magnets, creating content to nurture leads, cold calling your leads. You will be able to increase the coverage. You will be able to increase the amount of leads that you generate by 4x in that case. So that's the main goal that we want to target. And how you can do that, it's the main question that we're going to solve today. So let's say we want to reach out to a list of SaaS CTOs. Okay. So if you want to do that, you will need to find the SaaS companies. You need to qualify the companies. You need to find the leads among, all those CTOs that work for those SaaS companies. You want to find the contact data, and you want to send those leads toward a campaign. So in order to do that, you need probably Apollo to find the company data, or you can use Sales Navigator or LinkedIn to find that company data. And then you can use Apollo, you can use any tools to be able to get the company revenue, the company funding rounds data, and so on. So you can qualify the company. And if you want to find leads, you will use many tools to find leads like Apollo, like Alusha, like LinkedIn as well. But in this case, we're going to use Clay for that. And in order to find the contact data, we're going to use Apollo, Prospero, ICPs to be able to find those emails and send it toward a campaign in Smartly. And as I told you, you need to do like many actions that are relate to asking information to different tools at the same time. And that's what Clay will give you a huge leverage. Because in Clay, you can connect all those 6 tools into one. So you will be able to source leads, you will be able to enrich the contact data and any other data that it's required for you to create this workflow. You can process that data and you can integrate, send those leads into the campaign just and do all that inside the same tool, and you can even automate this all the actions. So after creating one workflow, you will be able to replicate the same process to other campaigns that you are crafting. All right, so the 3 ways that you can do to be able to connect tools to Clay, we have 6 tools we want to connect it, are using credits. You already know that. Create Credit System is a great way to access to tools to be able to test them before subscribing to the tool. So let's say I want to find a tool that extract me LinkedIn posts. I can check the different solutions in Clay until I'm satisfied with the result. And let's say I find useful to use Apify, I can then subscribe to Apify and connect it to Apify with a native API key integration. So that's the second way that you can connect your own tools and integrate a tool into Clay. I'm going to show you that later, how you can connect your own tools. And the third way of doing that is using API calls to the tool. So you can send just an API call to that tool that you have a subscription. And this case will apply for two use cases. One is for tools that don't have a native integration with Clay. And the other one is for functions in the tool that don't have a native integration in Clay. So for instance, a few months ago, Prospeo had some features that in their API documentation were shown, but in Clay, you didn't have the capability to send that request to Prospeo. But right now you have other solutions in Clay as well as a native integration. So let me break you down really quick how you can use a credit system for your case. If you are managing a team of sales reps, probably in the previous era, in the last year or previous year, each rep who would have access to different tools like Apollo, another tool like Datagma, AG Insight, Find Email, Prospeo. Each rep would have access to different tools. But right now, you can even unify all that into one GTM operator that accesses all the tools for you and can unify the qualification criteria, can unify all the systems, so then you can distribute the leads among the sales reps. So that will be the credit system that can help you to access all these tools without subscribing to the tools. Now let's compare it, that function, instead of using a credit systems with subscribing to a tool and connect their API. Let's say I want to find an email. If I want to use credits, it can cost you 2 credits. That in we have 3 plans in Clay, and then we have the enterprise, we have the starter plan, we have the explorer and the pro plan. In the starter plan, each credit would cost you around 7 cents. So in that case, if you want to get their email, if you're wasting 2 credits in that starter plan, will cost you around 15 cents to get that email. But you can easily check out that if you subscribe to the cheaper plan from Prospeo, you will access an email for around 4 cents, almost 4 cents. So you can see here the main difference of using credits compared to using other tools. Let's compare with OpenAI. You have the same process here. Instead of using credits that can cost you 1 credit to run, probably if you subscribe to your API key in GPT and OpenAI to qualify a company, let's say, you can be wasting around 1 cent to do it. So it's 7 times cheaper in that case, and you need to compare each case to be able to know when it's better to use one tool or the other. Another use case, the Clay agent. The Clay agent would cost you 1 credit, but for using GPT-4o Mini in this case, for a really easy task, it can cost you around 0.4 cents. So it's way cheaper to use your own API keys for most of the cases. In order to know when it's better to do one thing on the other, you need to be able to calculate that break-even point in which will be cheaper for you to subscribe to that external tool and connect it to Clay than using your own credits. So we have prepared this Clay tool break-even point calculator that you can use, and you have here in a spreadsheet that I'm going to share with you as well, so you can access it if you stay until the end of this workshop. Okay, now let's build it together. Let's demo what you can build on Clay. Do we have any questions so far in the chat? No. Okay. If we had any questions that you want to about this system, about the demo, just drop it in the chat. I will cover that later so we can answer all your questions today. So remember that we want to target to CTOs of SaaS companies. So if you're doing it manual, first task is find those companies. So probably you will need to go to Apollo, LinkedIn, or do a web research to find those companies. Now let's go into Clay and let's start with this action. So first of all, you need to create a new workbook. Now let's call this workbook as the name of the workshop today. So then we can share that with you as well. And now you can create a new table based on this find companies feature. So let's go to the find companies feature. You will find here a lot of filters that are going to be helping you to select the companies that you're looking for. So in this case, if it's SaaS companies, there are many ways to select them, but probably industries is one filter that you will apply. Like, let's say I want to select software development, and then you can select, software products for data security, software, IT custom software. You might have like different industry here that you can use. And the same applies for Apollo, the same applies for LinkedIn. The main difference in Clay is that you have also other features that can help you to increase that effectivity. So, for instance, you have this feature that they have released is not long ago that allows you to describe in natural language what type of product or services these companies should have, and they will look for the companies that match that criteria. So in that case, it's going to analyze the description of the company in the LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to write SaaS again here. We might find some solutions that are related to SaaS. You might find also companies that are service providers that probably are targeting SaaS companies. Let's take a look at it. Probably can take a bit until finishing to apply this filter. You can also here in the description keywords, you can use two keywords as SaaS. Let's check it out now. You have 780,000 companies. Okay, let's exclude it by location. I just want the ones from California. Sorry, Hawaii now. I would love to go and visit Hawaii, but that's not the thing that I'm looking to right now. Okay, so can take a bit, but this is the filter that takes time actually, because it's reviewing the description and analyzing the description using an AI. Okay, it's having decreased amount of it. Remove this one to check the results. Every time you are creating a source, take in mind that it's an iterative process like we're doing right now. So you should always assess the results, and then after assessing the results, checking out the descriptions and change the filters so they can match your filters query. Okay, today Clay is not being helpful for me. It's not filtering. Let's start it again. Maybe something off here. Let's start again with location. United States, California. Let's write software again. Okay, now it's loading again. Okay, I have a question in the chat. Could you please further elaborate on break even, please? Okay, the break even point is related to. Okay, now today, Clay, it's not working fine. Probably we have an issue here, but we can assess, we can check about the break even point question. So the break even point, it's how many API calls you need to do to have the same cost as subscribing to one tool instead of using credits in this case. So let's say you want to connect Datagma. Datagma discovery plan will cost you $39. So how many emails we need to find instead of using a credit that costs let's go into the starter plan, 2 credits that cost 15 cents per email to match that $39. So every enrichment above that 262, that is a break even, will be a saving for you. So in this case, let's say I want to find 1,000 emails. If you connect your own API key, you will save $110 instead of using your credits. If you want to use 2,000 emails, you'll save $259. In the break-even point, you'll find that the saving is zero. It's the same cost if you're using your credits instead of connecting your API keys. Okay, let's go back. Oh, okay. Today is not helping me. I'm so sorry for this. Let's go back again into the Clay platform. I think that now it's gonna work. Let's check it out. Yeah, now it's working better. It's faster at least. Okay, now we're talking. We have 32,000 companies that match that software in California. And you can here add other filters as well. But let's start with this one. We are in Explorer plan, so we have the capability to import up to 25,000 companies per import. You can import more than once in the same table, and each table can host up to 50,000 rows. So take that in mind when you are creating your own. This is a free function. I mean, it's included in your plan, so you don't have to pay extra for any company that you get here. So let's create this new table with this 25,000 companies.
It's
And
not free. It's not included.
It's included. Yeah, it's included in what you're paying for the subscription. Okay. Right now we have this
Thank you,
this
Diane,
table.
for the kind messages in the chat. That's awesome to hear.
I want to say that
also asking for elaborating on the break-even.
Yeah, we have just did that, and he was thinking about that.
Okay.
I just want to say that every weekly webinar you host material changes the way I run my GTMs. You guys, okay. Thank you for the feedback.
Testimonial, live testimonial.
That's it. Okay, so the table is loading. Remember that we can have up to 25,000 records in one import. So now that we have the companies, we need to qualify the companies. So let's say I want to only reach out to companies that have a revenue range between 5 million to 15 million yearly. So if we want to do that, remember that in the filters, in Clay, you can also set that filters. But if you are importing a CSV, for instance, you won't have that data. So even if you are imported that, you don't know what is the revenue if you're importing from a CSV. Here you have the annual revenue. This is a new implementation from Clay. So now you can filter them by the revenue. So that's really, really interesting. And the other thing that, let's say, we want to use to qualify a company is if the company has received a funding round, no matter what funding round, that can be an indicator for you that they might have higher budget than another type of companies. So let's get that data inside Clay. In order to do that, first of all, every time you create a new table, I will strongly suggest you to go to settings and turn off the auto update, because this auto update will cost you a lot of credits if you're not satisfied with the results. So until you're satisfied with the workflow, keep this turned off so you don't waste grades every time you add a new row in the table if you have already some enrichment columns in there. Okay, now in order to find the funding, you can use different tools, but in this case, since we have a subscription with Apollo, that we strongly suggest you to do it for firmographic data, like funding rounds, revenue, technographics as well, company size, department size. You have a lot of data in Apollo that is really useful. you can set an enrichment here to view all enrichments, and then go to Apollo. You'll find this enrich company call that, as you saw in the search bar here, it has like a key here icon. This key icon means that you can only run this enrichment if you have an API key. Let's compare it with another one. For instance, perform search will only run using create credits, but let's find, let's say, Prospio. So in Prospio, you have the capability to, let's look into work email, for instance, to use your own create credits or to add your own key. So you can select between using your own create credits or subscribing to that external tool and then using your own tokens in that tool. So going back into Apollo, in that case, we need the enrich company. And here you will need to select your Apollo account. And if you want to connect your Apollo account, in that case, if you go to manage accounts in Clay, you can here connect as many accounts as you have, like in different tools. For instance, for Apollo, for Rapify, Anthropic, Clay, Datagma, Debounce, Full Enrich, and many other tools that you can use to subscribe externally and then connect it to Clay easily. So let me show you a quick example here of how you can connect. Let's say if I want to connect Apify to that, I will go to the console in Apify and then go to settings, API and integrations here. And you can create a new token, or you can just grab this token from, copy the token, and then let's go into Apify. If I want to connect a new connection, I just need to paste here the API key that I got from Apify. Let's say this one. And then you can name it as you like it. Like the account that you have, like if you have like different Apify account, you can name it from the account owner or the purpose of the API key, so you can differentiate the codes as well. So this is really useful and easy to set up. Anyways, for Apollo, if you want to connect it, you need to log into your account, and it will ask you to sign in into your Apollo account to sign in. So I will skip that part because it's just require you to sign in your Apollo account, and then it's gonna parse the connection really fast. So after doing that, you can select the domain here. It will be already selected, but if you are starting from a CSV that have a different name for the column that hosts all the domains, you should select the one that you like. And then you can continue to add field. So let's say I want to add this column to enrich company. You don't need to select any enrichment here because we're gonna map it later, and we can run it for the whole list. And in this case, Apollo, you won't charge any credits to run this enrichment. And you're gonna get a data set like this one. So you have the company name, the website, LinkedIn URL, phone number, and you have the sanitized phone number, industry, estimated number of employees. You have also the address, location, short description, annual revenue. So we have another number for annual revenue. Let's add another column here to check against what Clay bring it to you here. So let's check it. Now you are able to assess that, for instance, in this case, Clay bring you one annual revenue that is in a range, but Apollo will bring you like a precise data. So you have like more precise data from Apollo here. You can also have a list of technologies that they use, that they have in their website. You have also, where's the funding? We should find it. Funding. Let's type it here. Maybe that company doesn't receive any funding recently. Let's type here, funding, fund, maybe. Let's find it maybe for another company. Let's try I just wanted to let you know that in some cases there are pieces of information that there are certain enrichment that won't bring you back because they don't have that data. So in those cases, you can do here we have funded year. That's interesting. Market cap, that can be interesting. So let's use this funding year. No, funded year. Sorry, it's not funding. There are certain companies that you won't have that data. Let's look for another one. If we don't find it, we can skip that part, or we can use a waterfall as well to find total funding. Here we have. So for this company, we have the total funding. And now that we create a column, you're going to see all the companies that we have that funding, and some of them you don't have the funding. Okay. So now you can use that data to qualify, and up to this instance, we haven't used any credits at all. We have just connect with our Apollo account, and then we have used our Apollo APIs to be able to grab that data. So if you want to qualify these leads, these companies, let's say you can create a formula here. Formulas are free to run as well. You don't need any credits to run it. And you can describe here natural language, what you want to achieve. And it's going to create a JavaScript formula for you that will translate the needs into an equation so you can get the data that you like. I want this column to output true only if, let's say, revenue is between 1 million and 150 million. And we can also include total funding is not empty. So now we are able to create a new column that will have like a checkbox and will show you only the companies that the annual revenue is between 1 million and 150 million and the total funding is not empty. So then you can use that checkbox to filter down only the qualified companies, and then you can find the leads for those companies. Okay. Clay has failed to run this AI. Maybe it's taking more time today, but I'm gonna bring you back the data. Always deliver, but sometimes take more time. In the meantime, do you have any questions so far? All right, it's not working. There you go. Okay, now we have a formula. Annual revenue. Okay, we have here JavaScript formula. Let's try it out. So we have here companies that have, this one is it's not okay. I mean, they have an annual revenue of billions, not millions. This one either. Okay, 45 million. This one is okay. So you can iterate that process just by clicking on generate formula again, and it's gonna bring you back another formula. So then you can check it out, the result again. Let's check it out now. Now it seems more accurate. Yeah, now it's accurate. So we're excluding all the big companies, and now we have a list of companies that we can filter down. Just a quick note here. If you're using Apollo to enrich companies or to find emails, you will find that they have a limit of how many API calls you can send. Actually, they have just changed that. Oh, that's amazing. But here we have, let's look at how many companies they have enriched so far. We don't have them all enriched yet. So if we apply this filter here, we're gonna not see all the companies because it's running. The enrichment is already, it's running. Okay, let's stop. Okay. Now we have the revenue and the funding. we have a list of 1,600 companies with the filter down with the revenue and the funding. The next step would be to find the decision makers of those companies. So if you want to find the CEOs of these companies, you can go into actions here, you can go into source, and you can click on find people at these companies. So then you're gonna see here that this new filter will appear with all the options to filter down where to find people. And in the companies filters, it's gonna be selected the same table that we just filled. So it's gonna find people that work for the exact companies that we have from that filter. So, and here you have the amount of companies. Now you can go into job titles and let's look for job titles to include CTO, Chief Technology Officer. Okay. Now from that list of 1,600 people, companies, we found 845 CTOs. So we can import it to a new table here. And in that new table, you're gonna see that all these companies, all right, now all these leads that work from this company will appear, and you'll have this table, this column, that if you run it, it's gonna bring you back all the company data that you have in that other table inside this table. So you won't only have the leads data, but also the company data here that you can, let's say, create a column here to see it as well. Also, you can have the company name, let's say company name. Let's correct it, company name. And now the next step would be to, since we have already find the decision makers, the CTOs, find the contact data. So if we want to find the contact data of those leads, let's say they are all qualified because they are CTOs, chief technology officers of those companies. In this case, that is really precise, the job title. We don't need to qualify the leads because, I mean, probably less than 1% won't be accurate, but most of them will be accurate because of the job title. We need to find the contact data, that means the email. So in this case, you can add an enrichment, go to view all enrichment, type work email, and you're gonna see here this first option that is a waterfall enrichment. A waterfall enrichment means that it's gonna send an API call to one tool. If that tool won't give you that data, it will look for the second tool. If that tool won't bring you back that data, it will look for the third tool and so on. So it's gonna increase the coverage of the emails that you find, but also it's gonna decrease the cost of running that enrichment because you can order the tools putting the cheapest one first and then order them by cost. So if you click on that, you're gonna see here that Clay will create a waterfall with 8 tools that they selected. I will strongly suggest you to use your own tools so you don't use Clay credits in these cases. So in that case, you just need to go to full configuration and you can here select the tools that you want to use. So in this case, as you can see here, I have the API key connected with Prospero, Datagma, ICPs. So let's use these 3 tools to find the email. And let's delete the ones that we don't have the API key. Now we can also order them by the cost of running that. So let's say I want to run first ICPs, then Prospero, then Datagma, because this is the order that I like. Also, you can connect your email validator tools. So in this case, we use dbounce for that. And we have the API key as well for that. So now we can run this enrichment without using any credits at all. So let's run it for 10 rows so you can check out the results here. And Clay will create for you a list of columns. If you open that toggle, you will see it will be one email validator, then it will run the one email finding tool, then it will run the validator. Then if that email wasn't found by the first tool, like you see here, no email found, the second provider will look for the data. In this case, Prospeo found the data, and it will output the data here in the last column. So now you can increase the coverage of getting those emails from those leads using your own API keys instead of using credit credits. And as I show you here, for instance, in Prospeo, if you are subscribed to their Pro plan, for instance, each API call will cost you one cent. If we are in the Pro plan, that can cost you 2 credits, that is 7 cents. So let's say I have a list of, in this case, 144 leads. In that case, it is cheaper to use credit credits. But let's say I have a list of 5,000 leads. In that case, I will be saving $150 using Prospero enrichment instead of using instead of using credit credits. That's why it's really important to assess the volume that you need to enrich before deciding to subscribe to an external tool or using your own credit credits. For instance, what we suggest always to do is when you are creating a waterfall enrichment, at the end of the waterfall enrichment, always add one solution that is going to be effective using credit credits. And the one that we suggest is full enrich, because full enrich has their own waterfall inside the tool. So if you're running on credit credits, full enrich will cost you 2 credits and the same cost as using Prospero and Adagma, but it's gonna increase the coverage a lot. So that would be a way that you can use your credit credits for the let's say 10 or 20% of leads that you are not able to find the leads, instead of using the credit credits for all the list. All right, now you have the contact data and validated contact data. Let's send those leads into a campaign. So in that case, you just need to add enrichment. And in this case, I want to send those leads into a smart lead campaign. You can type smart lead, add lead to campaign. I have created a campaign, a demo campaign that I call workshop test. So I just map here workshop test. And before doing that, you should connect your smart lead account here. So you need to add account here. You need to grab the API key and put it in here and save and run it. And now you need to parse the data that you get. Let's say work email is already parsed, so that's fine. We have the first name, last name, we have the link URL, location, company name, we have everything to send that lead. And you can see here that some records are optional, like the name, but the email is mandatory. You need that data to send those leads. So now let's save and run these 10 rows. And you will see that all those leads were sent to Smart Lead. And if I update my Smart Lead campaign, now we have these 10 leads that we have just sent from this workflow. So if you want to run the whole table, you can just turn off the table and send it if you're satisfied with the result. But as you have been seeing, in 20 minutes, I was able to create a workflow that find companies, qualify the companies, find decision makers, find contact data, and upload those leads into the sequence tool. And all the tasks that can take you 15 weekly hours, I did it in 15 minutes in Clay. So that's the benefit of automating your task. Imagine if you replace all the manual tasks that you're doing with automations, with AI automations. You will recover a lot of time to invest into other tasks. So you have saw a process in which we complete an enrichment without using any credits. We orchestrate 6 different tools inside the same platform, and we save a lot of time by doing that. Now, for you, the next step would be download the break-even tool calculator. Here you have the link. If you click that link, it's going to open you a spreadsheet that you can replicate, and you can grab the copy of that calculator so you can analyze the break-even of your own tech stack, and then set up your first API connection as I show you, and you can run your first 100 enrichment to test it. If you have any issues, just join our Slack community, drop the question there, there are a lot of other users that are helping each other. The importance of the community is to be able to help each other and to grow together. So for you, right now, you have two paths. One is maintaining the status quo and keep doing manually, fell further behind, or you can start investing time into learning how you can automate. You can start using Clay, and you can become a market leader. So if you like to do that, we have a cool offer for you that is book a strategy call with us. And if you book that call today, we're going to audit your current process. We're going to help you build your first workflow live in that call. And of course, if you need further assistance, we'll offer that assistance for you. Just I'm gonna leave here the link again if you like to book it. And now we're gonna address any questions that you have. Okay, Fawad, you're muted, Mark.
Yeah, just drop the link in the chat as well. So because it goes away after 5 seconds.
Yeah, I can change that to 20 seconds. But anyways, Fawad is asking, should we run a new column company enrichment to double check with OpenAI API by putting an if empty condition? Will it cause us for empty rows? I want to check whether Apollo has missed some data or not, the way the waterfall does when it doesn't find the email. Okay, let me try to understand what you're asking. Should we run a new column company enrichment to double check with OpenAI API by putting an if empty condition? I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're asking about Apollo enrichment here, if we go back here, we have the Apollo enrichment. If Apollo doesn't give you the information, let's say, let's check for these cases. Missing input for this case. If Apollo is not giving you the data, what you can do is creating a new enrichment to find, let's say, funding. You have the possibility to create like this type of waterfalls, similar as done for the email. But the main difference here is that it's gonna cost you they're gonna cost you credits, even if they don't find that data for you. So take that in mind when you are enriching company data, because most of the tools will cost you credits because they found the company data, but probably in some cases that company data won't have the information that you need. So and it's gonna cost you credits anyway. You can create like a waterfall here, and in the only run condition, you can set it up to run only if, let's say, annual revenue printed is empty. Okay. So then, it was for funding, but it's going to create like a condition to run this waterfall. So if Apollo find that data, then that waterfall won't run. What if we only use our own API key? Yeah, so if we want to use AI, let's say I want to find funding rounds of this company. Say domain, if you find any funding round data, output true, else false. So you're gonna create here a prompt to be able to send the client to find that data for you. And here I'm gonna show you how you can connect your own API key, so you don't need to run your great credits to find that data. We have another question in the meantime. Let's say I already have a list with the website, company name, and the first and last name of the decision makers. I want to write an email copy after confirming that I have good leads. Now, when I start the enrichment process, I'm not exactly sure what data points I should collect from the website or which details are important to include in the email. Can you please give me some ideas on how to decide which information to collect and highlight in the email? Okay, so that's related to the copy creation. We can share with you a template of different copy templates to look up, but even if having that template list, each company should build their own templates based on the value that they provide. So if you are providing, let's say, a lead magnet in that email, you will need to be able to use the enrichment in Clay to create a copy talking about that lead magnet. But if you don't have a lead magnet and you want to talk about the lead situation, then you will need to enrich that data from LinkedIn, for instance. So you know the job position of the lead, previous jobs, or you can enrich also the reactions on their posts, the posts that they made in the last 30 days. So you are talking about their posts. There are many ways of doing that. If you are interested into checking out what you're currently doing and what you can do using Clay, again, as we mentioned, we offer you to book a strategy call so we can assess your situation. Now that you have here the prompt in Clay, you can select the model. And in this case, let's say we want to select GPT. And when you select GPT, you are able here to connect your own key instead of using credits. This is the credits. This is our own API key. So when you connect your API key, it's gonna be really easy. You just create an API key in, I think it's console platform. This is the website that you should enter to grab your API key. It's not the same as ChatGPT. It's another one. So you should create another account in this platform. This is the link. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. All right. You have any other questions? And I look for the templates list that you asked me for. In the meantime, it's templates. Templates. Here's the template list. It was a pleasure, Evangelina, as well. Really happy that you enjoyed this workshop today. All right. Did I cover all the questions that you have? Pawit, Asib? Hope that's the case. Hope that's the case. All right, guys. It was a pleasure sharing this time with you, this hour, and sharing some insights. Happy to have you all in our community as well. If you want to be part of it, just join here, this link. Let's keep chatting. Hey, Mark, we have a great workshop today. Anything else to say to the audience?
I was gonna say to Evangelina that if she could send us the connection request on LinkedIn, we would be happy to accept her. But we are running out of connections on our end due to automation. So feel free to send those connection invites, and we'll be in touch, as well as in touch through the Slack community as well.
That's it. Yeah, totally. I'm gonna drop my
And
LinkedIn as
tell
well here.
Tomás that we are waiting for him to collaborate. Tomás and Nico, we're in touch with them.
If the waterfall is one of the sources doesn't find the data, Clay doesn't charge you. How it work in this case of you use own API? It does depend on the tool. Email finding tools usually don't charge if you don't find the email. Usually. I'm not aware of any tool that's charging you for not finding the email. But you should check out on your own tools. All right, guys, it was a great workshop today. Next week, we're going to cover a different topic. So stay tuned. See you next time. Bye bye.